shows we saw this time around game changers? Well, let's start with Tada's Game Changer. With a book by Christina Franklin, music and lyrics by Matthew Gregory, is a lesson in the value of teamwork. Game Changers is a popular kids game show where no one has ever won. Six contestants try their hand answering questions, eating nasty food, solving puzzles, and climbing Mount Victory to win. Chris has been the host for 7 years and he is bored and fed up with being on the show. Tracy is perfectly happy being the announcer. They have dancers called the Pump Up Team and unrespected, hard-working, behind-the-scenes crew keeping everything running smoothly. Will the contestants figure out how to conquer their insecurities and overconfidence to become friends and teammates? Once again, Tada has put on a charming show with talented kids that teaches valuable lessons in a very entertaining way. Happy face.
Mystic Conversations by Julia Barry Bell, produced by New Light Theater Project, runs through May 17th at Theater Row. A mom, played by Jenny Strasberg, goes for her regular hair appointment and meets a new stylist, a mystic, played by Brenda Braxton, who has life-changing abilities. She can see the spirits who surround the living. In the first accidental meeting, the mystic mentions that she sees 3 children in the mom's life. The mom has an ebullient daughter, played by Fernie Akoba, and a younger, wily son, played by Lincoln Cohen. The mystic knows something very few people know, that the mom had a miscarriage. Throughout the play, as the mom makes many attempts to have a meaningful conversation with her withdrawing husband, Brandon Jones, those lucky enough to be in the audience see the 16-year-old manifestation of the lost spirit child, Nikki Torchia, observing his parents. Later, the boy tells his mom that he too can see the spirit child, and maybe other spirits. It's scary to have powers like the boy does. He has to learn to protect himself. But he also finds a connection to his deceased relatives, and this leads to a happy family dance number to the song Alexander's Ragtime Band. Perhaps this song suggests that if we choose to tune in, we can live a more expansive life. The play is well written, especially the part about the husband, who is presented as finding his answers only with an established religion. Joey Brenneman's excellent direction keeps the dialogue flowing so we can make important connections. The mood is completed with spacious original music by the roly-polies Jan Bentley and Andy Evan Cohen. Bobby Renee Fulton's lighting design is quite ethereal. I give it a happy face.
We have a very special guest tonight. We have Veshonte Brown, who is the program's manager for Indie Space. So tell us, what exactly is Indie Space and what do you do with them?
Indie Space was started in 2010 by Randy Berry as initially called the Indie Theater Fund in order to provide resources to that community. And so we do a lot of very, very cool things, like truly a lot. We at any one time have about between 13 and 25 programs going on. But the reason I'm here today is for our mental health emergency grant that we do.
And what exactly does that entail?
Yeah, so our mental health emergency grant are $500 micro grants that are given to the indie theater and dance artists in order to support their mental health and whatever that means for them. We give out $10,000 a month with a rolling application, and in the lifetime of the program, which is a little under 5 years, we've given out just over 1,100 grants, which is a little bit over $600,000. It's a super duper easy process. All of our applications are on Submittable. You can fill out the application. We review those once a month, and then you're put into a lottery. And so we do that because we believe that everyone that applies needs it, but we have to give away a limited amount of resources to a lot of people. But what we can guarantee you is that if you apply, you will eventually get it. It just may take a couple of months to do so. We very much believe in this program and the importance of this program, and we're constantly fundraising and constantly trying to increase our capacity so that we are able to give more and more out.
Do you ever hear back from anyone that you helped out and that is now very successful?
Well, we do hear back from people all the time. Like, and that's the best part of my job. It really is. We don't require people to, like, with mental health care is such a private thing, and we don't want people to not apply because they feel like they have to like give us too much or like they should feel shy or anything like that. So we've made a system in which you don't ever have to interact with us besides doing the application. But because it is so helpful for so many people, they of course tell us about what they've used it for. It makes my job a little bit easier whenever I'm having to do all the stuff that I do. My belief is that the program is a success, even if just the average Joe is telling me that they just used it to pay for therapy for 2 months. That is a success in my brain, as much as like I am now on Broadway and now I do all this other kind of stuff, like it all feels good.
So it's good to have something that we're saying, look, we believe in you. We don't want you to get so discouraged you give up.
Yeah. We believe in the person before the artist. We also believe that the person is the artist. People make art and could have made art in the city and all over the world and all over like for decades and decades and centuries, despite a bunch of terrible things, right? So like mental health is important in in the creation of art because mental health is important to human beings and human beings make art. So it's like, what else is important to human beings? Like access to resources like food and housing security, which is another like so indie space also works on that. What else is important to humanity? Community and making sure that like you can go outside and know that there are people who know you and want to support you and like believe in you. So indie space works on that too. Indie space is about like the holistic person, taking care of the holistic person translates into like just like really great outcomes for the art and for the artist.
This is so nice to hear. It's just nice that you exist. So necessary, especially in the arts. I mean, we're it's funny because we're very fragile people, but at the same time we have to have thick skins. So
Yes.
that makes us very schizophrenic.
Yes. And like I said, our community is very often under-resourced. Like very often they people in this community, of course, are working multiple jobs. They are very often underinsured. There's just a lot of things that go into like reasons why they may not prioritize their mental health. And it's really, really difficult when you are working with very limited resources as a person to prioritize something like mental health, but we all know and understand that it's really important too, and that it's like watering the roots to make sure that the plant is healthy. Oh, if I only have $100 of extra money, what do I spend it on this month? What if we take that away and we say we're going to give you an amount of money and we all that we ask is that you use it specifically for things that will help your mental health. So Indie Space, you can always donate to Indie Space by going to indiespace.org/donate and you could just send some money that way. However, May is National Mental Health Month, and because of that, we decided at Indie Space that we wanted to do a larger fundraising campaign. Because again, we give away a lot of money every single month, but every single month more people apply and apply and apply, and we want to make sure that we have the capability of increasing the amount that we are able to give. And so, starting on May 1st, if you head over to indiespace.com, a little pop-up will appear, and it'll take you over to our mental health month specific fundraising page. And so if it moves you, we hope that you would donate anything. $5, $10, $500 is what it takes is a single grant. $10,000 is a single month of grants. And then our goal for the month of May is to raise $25,000.
Your giving is a given. Thank you very much. This was wonderful. And everybody go to that page and donate, 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 donate. At 5090 East 59th Street, we have the Brits off Broadway going on right now with Paul Hendy's The Last Laugh, which, if you're an Anglophile, you will love this because it focuses on three very famous British comedians that Americans probably never heard of, unless you are old enough to have watched the Ed Sullivan Show back in the day. You have Tommy Cooper, played by Damian Williams, Bob Monkhouse, played by Simon Cartwright, and Eric Marcombe, played by Bob Golding. They all end up in this rather mysterious dressing room, and the three British comics, they trade how they make a joke, what makes things funny. They talk about their audience. They talk about, dying on stage. We see their different gags and gimmicks and jokes and Bob Monkhouse has a whole book of them that Tommy Cooper loves to steal from, and it's just very. I love British humor, so I was hysterical laughing through the whole thing, and I vaguely knew the people involved, and it was just very touching and funny and wonderful, and I just really strongly recommend that you'll be laughing from beginning to end at the last laugh. I give this a happy face plus.
Irishtown by Kiara Elizabeth Smythe, directed by Nicola Murphy Dubé, is about a Dublin-based theater company, the Irishtown Players, that are in a rehearsal room for a table read of a new play that will be presented in New York in 4 weeks. The playwright, a lesbian, Eiling, portrayed by Brenda Meany, the director, Poppy, a Brit, portrayed by Angela Reed, and the 3 actors, Quinn, who is very doubtful that this play will be successful because it is not Irish enough, portrayed by Kevin Oliver Lynch, Shifra, the up-and-coming actress, portrayed by Saoirse Monica Jackson, and Constance, the esteemed veteran actress, portrayed by the Tony and Emmy-nominated actress Kate Burton. The 5 actors form a tight-knit and brilliant ensemble that elevates this play. The standout is, of course, Kate Burton, whose comic timing is spot on. This play is a laugh-a-minute treat with stellar acting. Happy, happy face.
Yes, this is a backstage drama with an Irish twist. And it doesn't take long for this to become, they're all like all kissy kissy, you know how actors are. But then it becomes this toxic, betraying, creative egos clashing situation. And they want to write a play that New York City audiences expect from an Irish play. And as everything implodes around them with walking out playwrights, hurt feelings, betrayals, will they manage to get the play to New York City with all the drama that is taking place? And I love the fact that they all think an Irish play. Have you ever seen an Irish play and happy? And you got to have alcoholics and incest and all this. But my favorite part of the whole thing was because they stole from me my favorite term. They actually called something a dead baby play. I was dying. It was laughing so hard. This was so entertaining because I like backstage dramas because they're so high drama. Let me give it a happy face plus like you, and then you can carry on more.
I too love this play, and it is playing through May 25th at the Irish Repertory Theater.
Lenny's review will be on Facebook. Tina Landau's Redwood the Musical, with music by Kate Diaz and lyrics by Kate Diaz and Tina Landau, and additional contributions from Idina Menzel, is about different ways of dealing with grief and trying to get past it. We first meet Jessie, played by Idina Menzel, driving and fleeing in her car from all of her inner demons. She's left behind her wife Mel, a photojournalist, her art gallery, and her home. It has been a year since Jessie lost her son Spencer, and she can't stop spiraling. Mel, who also helped raise Spencer, is also grief-stricken, but has found a better way to cope. Jessie finds herself in a redwood forest where she encounters canopy arborists Finn and Becca, who are studying carbon sequestration and the forest in the sky using this majestic tree they had nicknamed Stella. Jessie immediately becomes intrigued and wants to climb the tree and be part of their endeavors. It is a perfect antidote for her feelings. It takes her out of herself in its overwhelming majesty. Finn is kindly and takes pity on Jessie, but Becca is a rules follower and doesn't appreciate this intruder. But eventually she grudgingly gives in. Will Jessie's escape into the Redwood secret help her finally get back her life? Will Mel still be there waiting for her? By using the symbolism of the redwoods, this ordinary tale of grief takes on an epic proportion. Equally impressive is Maurizio Estrella's vertical choreography as Ms. Menzel climbs and almost dances with Stella. It does have a rather slow build, but by the end you are exploding into cathartic emotions. The acting was sublime. Idina's torment, Deidre Aziza, the wife's frustration, Michael Park's empathy, Kalia Wilcoxon's annoyance, and Zachary Noah Pizer as the focal point of the musical. Redwood will leave you hanging on for dear life. Happy face minus.
At the Public Theater, you could see Carol Churchill's Glass.Kill.What, If Only, and Imp, 4 shortish plays directed by James MacDonald with scenic design by Miriam Luther. The first one, Glass, there are 4 performers. They portray 4 objects on a mantelpiece: a clock, a plastic dog, a delicate glass figurine, and a vase. A romance develops between the glass figure and the vase. Both are in danger of breaking. I found it kind of inane. The second play, Kill, is the one that I really liked. Deidre O'Connell plays a goddess. She wears a lovely white outfit and sits on a fluffy white cloud, and she relates the whole sordid history of the House of Atreus, with many murders and acts of cannibalism. The goddess finds much that occurred not pleasing, but when she says that she doesn't exist, Miss O'Connell delivered the tricky monologue with panache. I actually, again, really like this short play. A third play, What If Only, features a man who's seated at a cafe table with a bottle of wine and a glass. And he first relates a little bit about a strange artist, but then gets to what really concerns him. His wife has died recently, and he wants to connect with her again. He gets his wish fulfilled in a strange way. Numerous apparitions that confronted him seemed to me just very annoying. Another play that I guess is supposed to deal with grief, but again, seemed inane to me. After an intermission, there was a longer, about an hour-long play with 4 characters that was surprisingly naturalistic for Carol Churchill. Elderly cousins Dot and Jimmy share a flat. They're frequently visited by a young, lovely, and successful relative, Neve, from Ireland. Another frequent visitor is Rob, a homeless man awaiting housing. A relationship develops between Neve and Rob. Jimmy runs to stave off his depression. Neve finds herself fearing many surprising things, including a fear of becoming a Muslim. Dot has quite a temper, which created problems for her early in her life. Rob is separated from his ex-romantic partner, who has custody of their bright young son. Dot keeps an empty wine bottle, which she feels contains an imp who can grant wishes. I thought the play was well constructed, but again, I really just didn't care about anybody. So it was kind of annoying and painful to sit through. Again, 1 out of 4, I liked a lot. And that seems to be my general score with Carol Churchill. I love Cloud 9 and Top Girls, but almost everything else I've seen, I just don't get it. I don't understand why so many academicians and critics find her the best living writer in English. So I gave the whole evening mixed faces.
J2 Spotlight is presenting Ira Levin's Drat the Cat with music by Milton Schafer. It is an affable musical about a notorious cat burglar who steals diamonds right from under the victims' noses. It is up to acting detective Bob, who is the son of a famous detective, to catch this elusive criminal. It is the Gilded Age, with a very rich and snobby family, the Van Gilders, who are hoping to marry off their rebellious daughter to another rich and snobby family by throwing a big party with lots of bejeweled guests. Will this pesky cat get in the way of their plans? This is so much fun, and that is due in large part to the adorable, dimpled Alexander Viox as acting Detective Bob, who is a big, klutzy Ernest type, and spoiled, bored-rich Chelsea Wheatley as Alice, who can really kick up her heels with Avital Ossolin's choreography and Adan Spencer Johnson's clever outfits. Providing constant comic relief is a multi-changing cast of Richard Rowan, Robert Hoofkirk, Adolfo Blair, and Lauren Gobes. Robert W. Schneider has directed this cult classic with much panache and hints of music hall delivery. Drat the Cat is perfect, and the cat's pajama. Rush to see this major happy face.
Smash was written by Rick Ellis and Bob Martin, with music and lyrics by Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman. This show is a show within a show about Broadway people creating a musical called Bombshell based upon the career of Marilyn Monroe. It is based on the TV show from 2012, 2013, although the TV show was much more of a drama, whereas the Broadway show is more of a comedy and a farce. I did really enjoy the show. I thought the performances were great. Only two characters actually carried over from the TV show. The lead, Ivy Lynn, played by Robin Herder, and the understudy, Karen, played by Caroline Bowman. I thought Robin Herder's performance was terrific, and the choreography by Joshua Bergassi was wonderful. Many of the songs carried over from the TV show, and the choreography too, although it was more adapted for the Broadway stage. The performances overall were excellent. I thought the one that stood out was by Brooke Ashmanscan as Nigel, the director, who actually stole each scene he was in, and was very, very funny. Indeed, he is Tony nominated. And the character I probably liked most was Chloe, played by Bella Coppola, who contributed to a very surprise twist at the end of the first act and showed us all that you don't have to fit a certain body image in order to be successful on Broadway. The only character I really didn't like as much was Susan Proctor, who was the mentor and the coach to Marilyn, or Robin, and plied her with pills and method acting, which actually caused the lead, Ivy Lynn, to turn from a very naive, nice person into a diva with tantrums and walkouts and negative behavior pretty much toward the end of the show. I found the show very entertaining as a comedy and a farce, and I think that fans of the TV show, as well as fans that weren't as familiar with the TV show, will find it equally as entertaining. There was a lot of laughter and much cheering throughout the show, and I give this a happy face.
Well, I'm afraid I got to disagree with you as far as fans of the TV show liking this, because they're going to be disappointed because they're going to be expecting the TV show, and this is not the TV show. I mean, like you say, this is broad farce. There's lots of running gags through it, especially with Krista Rodriguez, who she's playing a different part here. She's playing the co-writer with her husband, John Bellman. And everyone's always saying to John Bellman's character, I never really liked you, Jerry. Another running gag was about a book. Never give an actor a book. And also there was a little between the understudy and her boyfriend, there was a bit of Casey Garvin, her boyfriend Charlie. There was another subplot going there. And let's see. So I mean, I saw an earlier workshop version of this with a terrible ending, and they truly fixed the ending, so that was really good. And then you have the producer here, played by Jacqueline B. Arnold, and her assistant Scott Nicholas Matos, who she's always saying, "Oh, he doesn't know. He doesn't know anything about theater. I just have to bring him along for, I don't want to." But anyway, that's another running gag. But I loved the way they sang Secondhand Piano because that's my favorite song. And I love the fact they did have some of the music from the TV series. But this is a completely different animal. And Robin Herder is a brilliant dancer, but my God, she is no Marilyn Monroe. There's nothing fragile about her. That woman has guns, let me tell you. I was like, whoa, she could lift the chorus boys up instead of her getting lifted up all the time. And I agree with you about Christine Nielsen, who I love. She's hysterically funny, but she was just too much in this. I mean, it's like she was just too much of a cartoon character while everyone else tried to be more real. And so you have all this wonderful backstage drama, so which is enjoyable, and the good music from Whitman. And so, yeah, I would give this a happy face minus.
Here we are with Lauren Patten.
And I heard you're going to be doing Little Island. What are you going to be in the little one downstairs or the big arena?
We're going to be in the big amphitheater, the Amph, and it's called the Counterfeit Opera, and it's a new loose adaptation of the Beggar's Opera. So I'm really excited.
And when's that going to be? So I can promote it immediately because it's not passed.
Yes, I believe that I think May 29th is our first preview. So it's a 2.5-week run. It's May 29th, I think, until June 15th.
Oh, wow. It's going to be, let's hope the weather holds up.
Yes, let's hope the weather holds up, but it's so great because every ticket is $25. So Little Island makes really accessible, affordable theater, and it's a beautiful amphitheater overlooking the Hudson. It's going to be gorgeous.
So what do you prefer? Because you've done straight plays and music.
I love both. I don't consider myself a practitioner, just one or the other. My dream is to always be moving back and forth between the two. So I've been doing a lot more musicals lately, so I'm excited to get my next play whenever that comes.
Oh, well, I can't wait to see what you do at the Little Island. We're all going to be there rooting you on.
Thank you so much.
That was Lauren Patten at the Lortel Awards, where she was nominated for The Lonely Few at MCC. Our next show will be May 31st, and it's award season. Drama League just had theirs on the 16th, and the Outer Critics Circles will be on May 22nd. Lots of Broadway shows to discuss next time on the 31st. Meantime, these shows deserve better attendance. Real Women Have Curves is about immigrant family struggles and poor workers having to make 200 dresses in 3 weeks or not get paid at all from a greedy entrepreneur. Stranger Things is one of the most sensory, unique events ever in the theater. It's worth getting vertigo for. And I didn't see the show. I don't know anything about it, but my God, that was amazing. Floyd Collins is beautifully sung and staged about finding the American dream. Audra's Gypsy is the best Rose's turn I have ever seen, and I've seen a lot of gypsies. But check out our Facebook for reviews not on the show and upcoming events.